Hello everyone, I'm back here to do my first review since our little break from Holland. And what have I chosen for this time? I've chosen Hymu Studios' Deadpool. Now, Deadpool is a member of the Marvel Universe, but he's an odd one at that. Deadpool didn't really gain any sort of real computer game notoriety until Marvel vs. Capcom 3 came out. And then Hyman Studios decided that they wanted to license and create an entire game dedicated to just the man himself. For anyone who's never heard of Deadpool, just a little advice. Basically, he was a member of the Weapons X program, who was also proud members include Wolverine. He seems to have a healing factor that's actually a lot higher than his due to some sort of cancer, and his body is in a consistent state of flux, trying to cure the cancer, but he can't able to do it. So it gives him much higher accelerated rate of healing. The only other problem is he hears voices in his head. And this is shown in the game quite deliberately. I've had a look over a few Deadpool comics myself, and to say that Wade Wilson is completely off his tits is an understatement. He's completely and utterly mental. But we're here to talk about the game. Now, first of all, let's get a few things into perspective. This game is saved by one thing, and I'll get to that soon. First of all, the gameplay for itself. Now, the gameplay itself is nothing really that much stick out. It's got some elements of stealth in it. It's got nice upgrade your stuff system for collecting points. And how do you collect Deadpool points? Well, they're either laying around or they're actually done by creating combos from creating bad guys. You do need a bit of skill to get the combo start going, so you can't just mash the buttons because somewhat later the bad guys start blocking. Yeah, so he has various different slash attacks and his pistols, which practically made him famous in Marvel vs. Capcom. But to give the advantage to Deadpool, the High Moon Studios have decided to give him some new toys to play with. Peculiarly sized, so you could actually have very high-end combos because they're very quick. Or if you just want blunt force, then there's actually hammers. These actually come in handy later in the game against some of the bigger bad guys. And believe me, you get some funny fat things running around and large things with guns. They're just there to generally make your life an annoyance. Deadpool himself seems to when you first start, seems fairly slow on the upkeep with his pistols, but once you get him fully upgraded, then you can start doing some really crazy stuff. You can start slashing and switching to your guns, and then especially when you get yourself your speed up, you can shoot like nobody's business. Again, everything which Deadpool's famous for. But no, you can't get speed like you can on Marvel vs. Capcom. Come on, people, that's just a little unrealistic. But he controls nicely, and as I say, the gameplay's straightforward. The whole entire game is pretty linear from start to finish. Follow the storyline of Deadpool as he decides that he's going to bug High Moon Studios to make his own computer game, and that's just one of when the hilarity starts. Going back to the gameplay just a little bit, I don't think there's anything that's actually too hard about the game. It comes to a point where there's no jump puzzles that are too hard to do. There's nothing which is really going to irritate you and make you throw your pad against the wall because of the fact that it's just too hard. It's just really nicely balanced. There's enough level jumping to go around, and of course you've also got Deadpool's short range teleporter to get yourself from places from here and there, especially later on when it gets upgraded so you could go to larger spaces. So yeah, gameplay is basically run of the mill. There's nothing which screams, pay attention to me! And then again, there's nothing which says, oh, this is rubbish. Kill your people, get your points, upgrade Mr. Deadpool to your heart's content. And guess what? It plays quite nicely on a pad. So you don't need to worry about the mouse and keyboard combo if you play on the PC version, which I did play. What saves the game? The comedy factor of this game. Deadpool is absolutely, to my liking, hilarious. It's full of crude humour and jokes all the way through the game. The reason why Deadpool is there is because the voices that are in his head talking to him. And Deadpool does some stupid stuff, like jumping off a helicopter while the voices in his head sit there and kindly remind him he can't fly. All to which there's a massive comedy extent to the whole game. It's just got to be seen to believe, and even to wonder some of the things that Deadpool does. Even at the start of the game, you walk around the apartment, and there's laughs and gags in this whole entire thing. every time you do meet a new character, there's a sort of comic book section which comes up, which gives you a little bit of explanation. Now everyone knows Wolverine of the X-Men. Hey, it's a good thing that he turns up, because I don't think he gets along with Deadpool too well. Deadpool seems to get along with anybody, or practically anybody, that talks in his head, to some extent. But Rogue also turns up for a slight period, and also with Psylocke and Domino. I personally never heard of Domino until this point, but Rogue and Psylocke I obviously heard of. Your main bad guy in this game is Mr. Sinister and his army of clones. I'm not sure if that's a good choice of person villain for the Marvel Universe, but it's quite funny how his subordinates, Vertigo, Arclight, and Blockbuster, who Deadpool keeps referring to them as D-list villains. Yeah, Deadpool also breaks the fourth wall quite a lot. Oh, with some of his speeches, and even some of the games with some of the guys' attacks. When he gets knocked over, the camera goes down, and Deadpool starts complaining and saying, "Oi, player, stop dropping my camera." So he literally, on several occasions, personally addresses the player. Even when it comes to points where you're hanging around, when you're hacking people up, he's got various comments, and there's different comments for each weapon as well that he's carrying. And then you also got hanging around comments as well, where he gets bored and he basically starts talking to you and tells you to get a move on. It's all really, really, really amusing. Yeah, you may get a little bored of hearing the same one-liners as he's cutting people up, but the cutscenes is where the real strength is. And I'm really not going to ruin any of this for you, because it's funny as hell. Cable also makes an appearance as his kind of sidekick. This is done mainly because Cable and Deadpool had a sort of run in the comics together several years ago, and they decided, well, we might as well carry that on. And especially one, well, I'll go through one scene with you where basically Cable's telling Deadpool exactly what the is going on and what's going to be happening in the future. Deadpool doesn't kind of listen and getting bored and ends up shooting himself in the head, which is all controlled by you. So you actually have to pull the trigger on the gun to make him shoot himself. It's just so much little stuff. Even when you look at the QuickTime events, even they've got strange spellings in it. So it's usually, it's press A to dodge and press B to duck or whatever. This has got press A because, oh shit, this isn't working, and then press A, B, X, Y, up, down, left, right, L1, L2, L2. What the fuck? Yeah, it's got some really, really strange stuff. The stealth elements are a good point to it. You can be sneaky on people and can dispose of people quietly, but they're not stupid enough to be in clear sight if they see you take someone out to alert themselves. There's a nice variance of bad guys as well, which keeps the game rolling, in my own honest opinion. Some of them you'll have to sit there and wait it out, wait for them to make the strike. You can get the jump on them because you'll basically get a prompt above the bad guy's head for you to press the attack button, or more the teleport button, sorry. And then make him shift over and then actually start attacking. Then you get some free hits in so you can rack that combo meter up. If you get good at the game, you can really, really drive that meter up into a really good steed. But all in all, let's just have a look over what I put a good belief on. Is Deadpool worth the money at around £30? Because of the action, ideally I'd say no. I think, a little honesty, it's a little bit too high priced. Lucky enough, I paid less than 30 for it. About £20? Yeah, I'd definitely say this is worth £20, because the action, even though the action is bog standard, the action isn't boring, for my own personal opinion. And it's just fun to play. When you'll make a good few mistakes every now and then, and every time you do, you'll have a Deadpool coming up and ridiculing you for it. Especially in some cases where he's calling you a dipshit. Yeah, he even does that. Or he'll just sit there and say to you, "Never speak of this again." And it's just done the whole entire thing. Deadpool's voice is done by Nolan North again, the guy who did his voice in the Marvel vs. Capcom games. Because, hey, why not? If you heard Deadpool's voice in Marvel vs. Capcom, why are you going to do anything else? High Moon Studios did a good thing by rehiring Nolan to do Deadpool's voice, so people will automatically be familiar with Deadpool himself. So it'll be like, oh, we know this. This is the Deadpool we played in our Marvel vs. Capcom 3. And anyone who hasn't played Marvel vs. Capcom 3, I think the voice choice for Deadpool is pretty damn good, if you ask me. Because he seems to encapsulate Deadpool very nicely. And this is one of the upsides I like. This is the first Marvel superhero game I played in many, many years where I feel they've actually done the character justice. I've played the Iron Man games, I played the Spider-Man games, but when it comes down to it, these are all based off movies, and anybody with any anybody who knows that a movie license usually has a tendency to be crap. Yeah, there's not very many movie license games that are actually any good. But because this has come direct from a comic and there's been no Deadpool movie, and I don't count the Deadpool that's in the Wolverine film because that's just no, that is not Deadpool in any way, sense, or form. This is the first outing, and they've done a pretty good job of it. Would I like to see High Moons do another Deadpool game? You're running into the territory where it would be more of the same. It's going to be very hard to do it. Yeah, they could work with Deadpool's insanity completely out the window, but again, no. I think a sequel would be nice, but I don't think it's warranted. This Deadpool game does the character really well and does the character a lot of justice. So if you want to actually play what it's like running around in the craziest Marvel superhero in the head ever, then I do recommend getting hold of Deadpool. It's but I'd wait for a sale or I'd wait for the price to come down a little bit. £20 for this game is good. Anything higher, it'll be down to your choice. If you're a Deadpool fan, then you won't be disappointed. High Moon Studios did a very, very good with the Transformers games. They did them a lot of justice, and I think they've done Deadpool a lot of justice as well with their product here. Anyway, Deadpool was available on the Xbox 360, the PS3, and on the PC. So, if you want a slice of insanity, literally a slice when he's whacking people out with swords, then I'd say give it a go. If not, wait, go find the next superhero film that comes out. I'll probably imagine it's not going to be as good. Anyway, signing off, and I'll see you soon.